It's the first day of testimony in the felony trial against a former OU student accused of assaulting his then-girlfriend. Supreme Court arguments are set for a case that could impact tribal rights in Oklahoma and why monthly rent prices are seeing a double-digit increase. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Tyler DeLuca.
And I'm Roddy. We begin with the first day of testimony in the trial involving two OU students. Gage Ford is accused of assaulting his then-girlfriend 2 times, once after she disclosed she was pregnant. He faces 2 felony counts of assault and battery. OU Nightly's Audrey Goodson is live from the Cleveland County Courthouse, where more witnesses testified today. Audrey?
Bella, several people testified here at the Cleveland County Courthouse today, including police officers, a paramedic, a few of Gage Ford's childhood friends, and the woman who drove the victim, Allie Stevens, to the hospital. Witnesses included 2 police sergeants called to the scene on October 1st, 2020, where they described the aftermath of an alleged assault on Stevens, saying she had a black eye and scratches along her back. The MSAT paramedic who was in contact with Stevens that night also came to testify, saying Stevens had told her she was pregnant. She also described bruising to her left eye as well as busted capillaries that she said could be a result of physical trauma. Ford's childhood friends who were with him on the night of another incident on October 16th, 2020, also took the stand. Both say they were woken up in the middle of the night from Stevens' screams after staying at Ford's apartment for the weekend. They both described Stevens as being beat up and bruised in the face area. The girlfriend of one of Ford's roommates testified as well, saying she was in the car when Stevens was being driven to the hospital that night. She teared up, saying Stevens had been beaten to the point she was unrecognizable. The trial is still ongoing for today, and tomorrow Stevens is expected to testify. We're going to give you more updates as they come. Reporting from the Cleveland County Courthouse, Audrey Goodson, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Audrey. Supreme Court arguments are set to begin this week in a case that could have major impacts on Oklahoma tribes. Galen News' Pepper Papura heard from the Cherokee Nation ahead of arguments.
After half the state of Oklahoma was declared Indian country, a new question came to light. Who should prosecute non-Native people for crimes against Native Americans, the state or the tribe? On Wednesday, that argument will take place, and the Cherokee Nation believes the law is on their side.
The state's arguments, at their core, ask us to ignore the facts on the ground and instead accept recycled anecdotes and outright falsehoods.
The Cherokees were the most recent tribe to join the Castro Huerta suit. They believe this case is a sovereignty issue for their nation.
The governor of the state of Oklahoma has engaged in political attacks. He's fired up the rhetoric to cause fear among Oklahomans. And as I mentioned, he's gone into the Supreme Court and filed many petitions in an effort to undermine tribal sovereignty.
Oklahoma is arguing the state should retain their power to prosecute. They believe tribal nations lack the infrastructure to handle additional prosecutions, but the tribes feel they are prepared.
It really required a lot of Herculean effort by a lot of tribal prosecutors and federal prosecutors to make sure that these cases are being prosecuted, but they are being prosecuted. And it's just that the picture that's painted by the state of mass chaos is simply not accurate.
Historically, the federal government has expanded tribal prosecution powers to address violence against natives. That same idea is why the tribes want to retain the power to prosecute. Arguments are scheduled for Wednesday. Pepper Papura, Gaylord News, Washington.
The court is expected to issue an opinion in the early summer.
And Germany is sending support to Ukraine for the first time since the Russian invasion. Today, the German Defense Ministry committed to sending anti-aircraft systems, which were phased out from active duty in Germany in 2010. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin called on how urgent the coming weeks will be.
We don't have any time to waste. The briefings today laid out clearly why the coming weeks will be so crucial for Ukraine. So we've got to move at the speed of war.
This comes after the city of Kherson fell to Russian control. The mayor of Mariupol has also announced that a third mass grave has been found near the city.
And a trial for a January 6th Capitol rioter commences. Caleigh Hommel has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Tyler. A trial has just begun for a former New York City police officer who has been accused of assaulting another officer at the January 6th Capitol riots. Thomas Webster was filmed by a police body cam pushing a metal barrier into the other officer, knocking him to the ground. This trial contains the first rioter to argue self-defense against the police. The trial is predicted to continue through the week. President Joe Biden is intending to invoke the use of clemency powers for the first time during his term. Over 75 nonviolent drug offenders will potentially receive shortened prison sentences, while 3 others will be fully pardoned from their convictions. Among the 3 is the first Black Secret Service agent to work on a presidential detail. The Biden administration has marked April as the Second Chance Month and is working to facilitate a smooth transition back into life outside of prison. A federal judge in Louisiana has temporarily blocked the White House from revoking Title 42. This policy involves 2 key issues for the Biden administration: border security and the COVID-19 pandemic. Title 42 was invoked by the Trump administration. However, government officials across the country are divided on the decision to block its removal.
I would note that there are a range of views on Title 42. There are some, you noted, who are very vocal about how they would like to see it extended. There are some who are very vocal about how they would not like to see that happen.
A source from inside the White House says the plans may not be disrupted despite the block from the Louisiana federal judge. And Vice President Kamala Harris has tested positive for COVID, but reportedly has not felt any symptoms. Bella Tyler, back to you.
Thanks, Caleigh. Now it's finally feeling warm outside after some pretty inconsistent temperatures lately.
OU Nightly's Brayden Siau joins us live with the first look at our forecast.
Yeah, guys, you can see right now behind me, these skies are beautiful out here. Temperatures are near 70, winds are light, but across the state, we've got temperatures ranging from the mid-60s in the northeastern part of the state all the way to the mid-70s in the panhandle. So combined with some dry air and these gusty winds out in the panhandle, we do have an increase in fire danger out there, and this will stick with us for the next few days. But here across the state, across western portions of the state even, we could be seeing storms as we head into Friday. So coming up later in the show, Hannah will give us a look at what we can expect with these storms and how that will affect our forecast. And she will give us a look at our weekend forecast. And so everything is busy right now. It's spring. We've got a lot of weather happening in Oklahoma. So it's good to stay tuned and know what exactly to do to prepare for these storms as they move into the area. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Brayden. The cost of monthly rent is more than $200 higher than previous years. Find out why and if we can expect a decrease soon.
Plus, Delta airline attendants are going to be paid extra for the work they do pre-flight. Find out why coming up in Money Matters.
Hello and welcome back to OU Nightly. The cost of monthly rent is higher than ever before, and a major U.S. airline is the first to offer a specific pay increase. Mecca Thompson is in Money Matters.
The cost of monthly rent is now $280 more expensive each month than it was 2 years ago before the pandemic. The national median rent in February was around $1,800, up 17% from a year ago. With prices up nearly a total of 20%, averages are expected to remain high, but there is a potential to see a decrease in the growing rate pace. Delta Airlines flight attendants will now be paid for their work during the boarding period. Flight attendants at U.S. airlines are typically paid their hourly rate from pushback to arrival, but now, in an industry first, they will be paid between $10 and $30 an hour for all of the pre- and post-flight preparations. The raise comes as the airline asks its crews to work more due to growing travel demand. About 5,000 nurses in California are on strike asking the hospitals for more money and better health care. The nurses' labor contract expired on March 31st, and since then, the union and the hospital system haven't been able to reach an agreement. The hospitals are still open with replacement nurses, and other rounds of negotiations are set for today. Bella and Tyler, we've heard a lot about the electric car industry booming. Now the popular Chevrolet Corvette plans to join the family. Back to you.
Thanks, Mecca. Accessibility to hair products and braiding salons were hard to come by until now. Find out how one business has made a way to embrace inclusivity in Norman.
Plus, Hannah Gard is here to tell us what severe weather we can look out for later this week.
Yeah, guys, we are looking at severe weather in the forecast as we get towards the end of the week. I'll have more on the timing of that coming up after the break. welcome back to OU Nightly. We're looking at another warm week ahead, and we're really climbing above average. If you look by the end of this week, temperatures in the mid-80s, and we'll be pretty much staying around the average. But along with those summer temperatures, we are looking at a fire threat in the Panhandle today, and that's because we're seeing very gusty winds. You can see gusting sustained winds almost 30 miles an hour in the Panhandle. Pretty clear as we head towards the east, though, but along with those really dry dew points and warmer temperatures, we're certainly seeing that fire weather today, and that's just going to get worse throughout this week. We're looking at extreme fire risk on Friday once we start to see a cold front push through, and that's also going to bring us another chance for severe weather. But right now, that warm weather is sticking around until we get to the end of the week. You see this low pressure system move in, bringing with it this cold front, and we'll see that chance for storms. Now, if we look at our radar here, we'll see those clouds start to gather Wednesday, then late Wednesday night, this line of storms, some of those could be severe up towards the Panhandle. That will continue to move across the state, dissipating as it heads to the east. And then Friday, once this dry line moves in with this front, we could see some severe weather. Here's what we're looking at. We definitely have the ingredients we need on Thursday, but then if we look at Friday, certainly seeing more so, we could see that severe weather in central Oklahoma. So the Storm Prediction Center has put out a 15% risk for that severe weather for central Oklahoma on Friday. So we'll keep an eye out on that as we get closer. It is looking a bit uncertain right now, but temperatures right now, beautiful. We're almost in the 70s, sunny skies, light winds. And as we head throughout the rest of this evening, we'll cool off down into the low 60s, certainly looking like a beautiful night. Tomorrow, waking up a bit cooler in the 50s, warming up quickly into the 70s, before 70s, even 80s across the state tomorrow, nearing 90s in Guyman. But for the next 7 days, we're seeing those warmer temperatures, rain chances Thursday and Friday, and we could see that severe weather later in the week. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Hannah. A new store in Norman is meeting the needs of a community that is used to having to commute to pick up what they need. OU Nightly's Katani Gooch tells us how the opening of Amazing Glow Braiding and Beauty Empire changed that.
This is a crochet braid.
Hair is something that can be a form of expression for most. However, with the many existing types, not everyone can find the products they need in stores like Walmart or Target. With Norman being a college town, the community here is very diverse. Sade Shuguro, a junior at the University of Oklahoma, has been doing hair as a side job for 7 years. She has a hard time finding the right products for her business and even for personal use.
My hair takes a lot of different products, and typically it's not going to be found in Sally's.
The closest beauty supply to Norman is about 35 minutes away in Oklahoma City.
It's just like, dang, I really don't have time to sit there and care about my hair because I'm not going to have time to drive 30 minutes to 40 minutes to the city just to get the products for my hair.
Norman residents don't have to drive that far anymore because a little over 1 year ago, Fina Zoe Jamonte opened her own store, Amazing Glow Braiding and Beauty Empire.
She expected business to be better considering it's the only store of its kind here in Norman, but the location of that has made it difficult. When you type in the address, it takes you here. However, if you walk around the back, this is the actual location of her store.
I know when more and more people get to find out, they're going to be so happy about it because it kind of helps with the gas price right now being so high. Going to the city is really terrible.
Like Shuguro, doing hair has always been a passion of Jamonte, and she was very excited to bring that passion to Norman.
That's my passion. That's what I like to do. And if God permits me, I might do it till I turn 60.
Along with hair products, she also has a braiding salon in the back of the store. Katani Gooch, OU Nightly.
If business continues to go well, there are plans for a new location that is double the size.
The NBA playoffs continued last night with a contender being eliminated in a surprising sweep.
OU Nightly's Brigg Bates joins us with more in sports.
The preseason NBA title favorites were bounced in the first round, losing the series 4-0. And on the diamond, following their dominant performance over the Kansas Jayhawks, OU baseball is looking to stay hot as they head to Tulsa tonight. Sports is next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Brigg Bates, and it's time for sports. Oklahoma baseball is back tonight as they take on an in-state rival, Oral Roberts, in Tulsa. The Sooners took home the last meeting between the two, 8-2 in Norman. Sooners will look to strive to maintain their streak after they have won their last 7 of 8 games. First pitch is at 6. OU baseball first baseman Blake Robertson has been announced Big 12 Newcomer of the Week after an astronomical series versus the Kansas Jayhawks this past weekend. Robertson tallied a .647 batting average paired with 5 doubles, 11 RBIs, and 1 homer in the series win. And the best golf team in the nation is heading south to Texas for the men's Big 12 championship. Play was suspended after day 1 due to storms, but the tourney will resume today in a 54-hole format. Through the first round, Texas and Texas Tech currently sit atop the leaderboard at 7 under, and OU is in third at 5 under par. And the first series sweep of the playoffs went down last night as the Boston Celtics brought the brooms out and swept the floor with the Nets, taking home the win 116 to 112. The Brooklyn Nets came out as preseason favorites with the trio of James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, but injuries left them staggered. Celtics' collapsing defense slowed Brooklyn Stars, giving them an early trip to Cancun. And the 76ers-Raptors matchup has taken an unexpected turn around after Raptors steal Game 4 in a winner-go-home situation to extend the series. Philly has dominated the series, but 76ers star Joel Embiid suffered a torn ligament in his right thumb. Since the injury, the star big man hasn't been as effective. And the Dallas Mavericks came out on fire in a beatdown of the Utah Jazz last night, giving the Mavs a 3-2 series lead. The Mavs took a quick 52-36 lead at half, but Dallas star Luka Doncic didn't stop there, unleashing the Slovenia shimmy, scoring 19 points in the third. Mitchell and the Jazz look to strike back at home for Game 6 on Thursday. And the Memphis Grizzlies host the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight as the series is tied up 2-2 after T-Wolves took home a 1-point dub on Saturday. Ja Morant took home the Most Improved Player award and hopes to show off his skills tonight at home. Tip-off is at 6. And Miami Heat host the Atlanta Hawks tonight with a chance to seal the series at home. The Heat have lost Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry to injuries, which gives Trae Young and the Hawks hope. And the late game tips off at 9 as the Phoenix Suns host the New Orleans Pelicans in Game 5. The Suns have lost star guard Devin Booker to injury, which has opened the door for the Pelicans to be the 5th-8 seed to upset a 1 seed. The Suns' stellar offense hasn't looked the same without Booker. And the Brewers were up 1-0 against the Giants in the 8th inning when a Brewers heckler let Jock Peterson have it at the plate. On the next pitch, Peterson humbled the fan with a monstrous 435-foot home run to deep center to give the Giants a 2-1 lead late in the game. Maddie Tyler, that ball was a moonshot. I hope we see some of that at L. Dale Mitchell Park this Friday.
Thanks, Brigg. And if you're from Texas and want to earn up to $10,000 by traveling around the state tasting food, stick around.
We'll tell you how you can be the ultimate Texas taste tester next on OU Nightly.
I'm Morgan Martin at the OU Nightly Update Desk. San Jose police have found a 3-month-old baby who was kidnapped from his grandmother's home Monday. Following a 20-hour search, Brandon Cuellar was found alive and unharmed. The infant's grandmother left him inside to unload groceries when a man entered her apartment, taking her grandson. There are currently 3 suspects in custody and charges are expected. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Morgan. The popular Texas delivery service Favor is asking all Texas residents to apply to be the Chief Taco Officer.
All you have to do is be 21 to enter and upload a video to Instagram explaining why you're the perfect candidate for the role. And the winner will receive $10,000 to travel the state tasting all kinds of tacos.
Plus, you get free Favor delivery for an entire year.
Now it's time to get one last look at our forecast. Hannah?
I mean, guys, talk about a good job. I think I'm going to find a new calling with that one. But this week looking beautiful temperature-wise, but our fire weather is getting more towards the extreme conditions as we get into Friday, because we are looking at a cold front moving into the area. That's going to bring some windy and dry conditions. But the next 2 days looking beautiful. We do have some late night storm chances Thursday. We could see those pop-up showers. Then Friday, we could see some severe weather. We're still a bit uncertain on that, but we'll have more later on this week. Temperatures looking nice, though, Saturday and Sunday for this weekend. High 70s. Then after that, guys, we'll just be on the up and up from there. Back to you.
Thanks, Hannah, and thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night, live at 4:30. Good night.
Good night.